Shabbat Shalom. I'm at it again. This should be the final section. I've did two others today, but this should be the final section. So I labeled this one I labeled this one Being Perfect, the Walk Towards Maturity. It's kind of a haphazard title a little bit. I couldn't really figure out what to title this, but it doesn't matter because right now I'm in the process of perfecting or becoming mature. And so everything I do, may have a hint of mistakes because I'm growing, I'm learning. And this is what we should be doing, growing and learning. This whole English language of what perfect is to be flawless and stuff. And that never was the standard for us. But that's just my take. So I want to go back to the original man, Adam, and set it up. Let me go there. Yeah. Abiyah, thank you for this Shabbat. Thank you for allowing your will to be done on earth as is in Yeshamayim. Yada Yahuwah. Let's go. Okay. Bereshit, Genesis 1. And Elohim said, let us. Many try to, put that to be Trinity, but, Yah is eternal and has had a rule and a reign before earth was even created in the Shamayim. He had as my, let me go out. My picture here say he's the master of hosts. So those heavenly hosts, he was always a master of before he even decided to create earth. Something that he knew from the beginning. He knew the end from the beginning that he was going to do this, but let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Elohim is spirit. So, what is his image? This is talking about his character, his way of being, his attributes. Not talking about how he looks. If he's spirit, that's how I take that. If he's spirit and we don't see spirits, his image, what we see, is not what he's speaking of. According to our likeness, our character, and let them rule them. So, them, as we'll get down to the end, we'll see male and female. So, which one is it? He look like it, or are we saying he's a hermaphrodite? No. Yah has characteristics about him that he made man in. And let them rule over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the ground. And Elohim created the man in his image. People say the male. He created mankind in his image. Not what he looked like, but his character. In the image of Elohim, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Having the ability to create, having the ability to think, having the ability to name things. And Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said to them, be fruitful and increase. Elohim is able to be fruitful and increase and fill the earth and subdue it. He's able to rule, subdue things, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds, and over the heavens, and over the creeping creatures of the earth. You'll later see that he gave to man and allowed him to name. Just like Yah has named man, now he's given man that authority to name the creatures. But let me keep going because that's not the focus. Bereshit, Genesis 17. Some try to say that the only perfect person is Yahusha. Let's go. And it came to be when Abram was 99 years old that Yahuwah appeared to Abram. and said to him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be perfect. Why would he ask or tell? He didn't even ask. He told. Why would he tell Abram to do something that he's incapable of doing? Was not Adam, the first man created, perfect or without flaw? That idea of perfect. This perfect right here is not dealing with being without flaw, though. He approaching this man at 99 and telling him this. So in 99 years, are we to think that he was flawless? And if he was, why is he telling him to be perfect and not that you are perfect? Mature is what I'm showing. But let's go. I want to go to what that word. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna start off first with the Hebrew, which for perfect is Tom. Tom. So it's H855. No, it's 8535, but the root of the etymology is 8552. So again, let me go up here. H8535, Tom. And so you go down, and the Strong translates it the following: perfect, undefiled, plain, upright. But outlined in the biblical usage, perfect means complete. Complete, perfect, one who lacks nothing in physical strength, beauty, sound, wholesome, an ordinary, quiet sort of person. Complete, morally innocent, having integrity, one who is morally and ethically pure. But let's go over here and look at this other. And this one right here fits better to me. It says to couple together. They're going to word perfect, plain, undefiled, upright. Here's blameless, guiltless, complete, perfect, blameless, integrity. Say complete, usually morally pious, specifically gentle, dear. Let's go to what the Greek word for perfect, and that would be teleos. I've seen people teach on this, and so, I'm not going to go into detail, but G5046. I'm just going to read what it says for perfect, man of full age, so mature, but it said brought to its end, finished, wanting nothing necessary to completeness, perfect, that which is perfect, consummate human integrity and virtue of men, full grown, adult, of full age, mature. Look at that again. In another, it says complete, completeness in various applications of labor, growth, mental and moral character. Complete, perfect, mature. So it's not saying flawless. Telos, complete of labor, growth, mental and moral character. So let me see. I thought I had the English definition, but I must have closed it out. But let me see. We here. Let's look at the English definition of perfect. Might as well do that since I had intended to do that. So the English definition is having all required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics, as good as it is possible to be. This does not mean flawless, but it's as good as possible to be. Be as good as you can possibly be. Mature. Say absolute, complete, use for emphasis, and then, of course, make something completely free from faults. That's or defects, or close to such condition as possible. That's the English. But notice there's a distinct difference in there. But let's keep going. Let's keep going to where what I want to do. I'm gonna keep going. Let me see. I might have to close out and come back in. All right. Because I want to go and keep showing. I just got through showing you that Abraham was told to be perfect. So let's see. Let's keep going and see if anybody was labeled perfect. 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 Let's see. All right. Many say Job, but Ayub, Job 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Ayub, and that man was perfect and straight. There's that word perfect. It didn't say for him to be, it said he was perfect and straight. Was that he was flawless? No, he was mature. He was the best that he could be. Not in competition with anybody, and one who feared Elohim and turned aside from evil. He was perfect. Let's keep going. Let's look at this. Many like to throw out Shaul. They throw him out as basically the person that they follow more than even Yahusha. But check it out. We're going to go to Philippians 3 and start at verse 1. For the rest, my brothers, this man is a Benjamite. His brothers. Who was he talking to? His brothers. Rejoice in Yahuwah. To write the same matters to you is truly no trouble to me, and for you is safe. People say, oh, this is to the believers, to all believers, that he's calling brothers. Okay. I'm okay with that. That ain't gonna bother me. So look out for dogs, look out for the evil workers, look out for the mutilation. For we are the circumcision who are serving Elohim in the Ruach spirit and boasting in Messiah Yahusha and do not trust in the flesh. Though I too might have trust in the flesh, if anyone else thinks to trust in the flesh, I more. He's saying, I was circumcised the 8th day of the race of the nation of Israel. I don't believe in that race crap. They just added stuff. Ain't no race. It's a human race. Of the nation of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, according to Torah, a Pharisee. Many have taken that term Pharisee to be a negative or a derogatory, but yet even Yahusha tells you to do as they say and not as they do. The Pharisees were ones that actually taught on the law, and they taught it, but they didn't live by it. That was the problem. Say, according to the idea of persecuting the assembly, according right to righteousness, that is in the law, having become blameless. So far as the law, Shual said he was blameless. He's saying he was perfect. This man saying he kept the laws, he shamarred the laws, he did the laws. Even though he acknowledged he persecuted believers in Yahusha, not trying to knock Shual, but you got to listen. This man walked in accordance to the law. Why would he teach you to do something contrary to what he himself seen as necessary to do? That don't make sense. Let me keep going. Luke 1. This is before the death, burial of Yahusha. Many say there's no such thing as righteousness before the death, burial of Yahusha. Now, this is the Brit Hadashah that I'm reading this from. There was in the days of Herodes, the sovereign of Yahuda, a certain priest named Zechariah, and of the division of Abiah, and his wife was of the daughters of Aharon. So these were Levitical people, and her name was Elisheba, and they both were righteous before Elohim, blamelessly walking in all, blamelessly walking in all, blamelessly walking in all the commands and righteousness of Yahuwah. This is John, who you call John or Yohanan's parents. Yohanan the Immerser, some call Baptist. These are his parents. That young man was trained in the way to go. Of men, it said, he was one of the most righteous. But where did he get his example from? His own household. His parents. They set the standard. They showed him how it was to walk in maturity or perfection. Biblical perfection. They were not flawless. Because if you read the story, when she came with the name for the son, he didn't accept it because, at first. So that's a flaw. But he ain't break no law. He was blameless when it come to the law. He was righteous. He lost his voice for a little bit, but he still was able to do his Levitical duties. He didn't die when he went inside the tent of meeting or, he went in there, the Holy of Holies. He didn't die. He still was doing his service as the high priest, though he lost his voice because he still was blameless. Was he perfect? If you lose, he lost his voice. They ain't perfect, not having your voice. But when it came to walking in the commands, he was righteous. He was blameless. He was perfect. Man, let me keep going. Keep going. Matthew Yahuwah, Matthew 5. Therefore be perfect, as your Father in heaven is perfect. I'm not saying be flawless. He wouldn't tell you to do something that you can't do. But of course, we've been taught over and over that you can't be. You can't keep the law. No, I can't do a law that's for a woman. But I can shamar. I can guard it. Not knowing the Hebrew language is a problem. Because now these people who have given you your word, they've given you the testaments or the covenants from Yah, and they've made it difficult what it was not difficult. They put a yoke on your neck that you weren't supposed to have. You're supposed to be able to walk in obedience, but you're not walking in obedience because they've told you you can't do it. So instead of even attempting, you say, I can't do it. And guess what? You were created in Yah's image. So the words that come out of your mouth form death or life. When you say you can't do it, then no, you can't do it. You spoke it, and it is as you speak. Keep going. Ibrahim, Hebrews 2. Start at 6 here. But somewhere one has witnessed saying, what is man that you remember him, or the son of man that you look after him? You have made him a little lower than Elohim. He's talking about man. You have crowned him with esteem and respect and set him over the works of your hands. Adam, man, was given dominion over the earth, able to name it. He was made perfect. You have put all in subjection under his feet. For in that he put all in subjection under him. So now, switching lanes a little bit, Yahusha is the example of the second Adam. He's our example of what all mankind is supposed to do. Yahusha himself has said, greater works ye shall do. We ain't seeing it because nobody believes it, because we are told we can't do it. You can't obey Yah. That's what they teach at a lot of these first day or Yom Rishon meetings, Sunday meetings. You can't do it. He left none that is not subjected to him, but now we do not yet see all subjected to him. You have put all in subjection under his feet, for in that he put all in subjection under him, everything's under subjection under Yah. He left none that is not subject to him. So man, Yahusha being a representative, nothing is not in subjection to him. Adam, nothing was not in subjection to the first Adam. So why would anything not be in subjection to the second Adam? But now we do not see all subjected to him. We don't see all subjected to the Son, the Exodus 4:22 Son, or Israel, or the Exodus 19:4, 5 through 6, the royal priesthood. We don't see all right now subjected to the Son. We say that Yahusha is the Son, but he's the head over a body. We do not right now see all in subjection to him, this Son of Yah, not just Yahusha, but his whole body, the head and the body. But we do see him who was made for a little while lower than the messengers, Yahusha. Because of the suffering of death crowned with esteem and respect, that by favor of Elohim he should taste death for everyone. The head tasted death for the whole body. And everyone, the royal priests and those who they are priests over, gets a benefit from it. But obedience is still always the key. For it is fitting for him, because of whom all are, and through whom all are, in bringing many sons to esteem, to make the prince, who is the prince? Yahusha, not the king. He is the prince of their deliverance, perfect through sufferings. For both he who sets apart, who is that he? Who sets apart? Is it Yahusha that set apart or Yahuwah? Yahuwah is the one who sets apart. He may use Yahusha, but it's Yahuwah who does it, who sets apart, and those who are being set apart are all of one. This one is not saying they're one and the same, but they're in accord. They're connected. The head and the body are not the same, but they're all one. My head is not the same as my arm. My head is not the same as my arm, but it's all one. It's all me. My arm is Shanquilla. My head is Shanquilla. But my head and my arm are not the same. They function together. They have a oneness together. They are the same as they are Shanquilla, but they're not the same as in function. They're not the same, but they all are part of one body, one same. That's the same, but they're individual limbs or sections. Anyway, For both he who sets apart and those who are being set apart are all of one. For which reason he is not ashamed to call them brothers. The prince is among other princes. He calls them brothers. He does not call them sons. He calls them brothers. Let me say that again. Let me pull up my screen. He does not call them sons. He calls them brothers. Yahusha is not the father. This Trinity doctrine is of the devil. He calls them brothers. He's the prince. The king of kings, the master of hosts is Yahuwah. Can't if the Ruach ain't showing you that, then it ain't showing you that. I'm gonna just keep moving. Let me keep it moving. Let me share my screen back. Let me keep going. All right, going on. This is a little read because again, being perfect or walking in obedience to the law is something that people say can't happen. And what you say out of your mouth is the truth. If you say you can't do it, then you can't do it. But let's go. The disciple, the apprentice, the one who was being guided under Moshe is Yahushua. We call him Joshua. He is the namesake, or the Yahushua got his name from him. He is the one that Moses laid his hand upon, that was in the midst of his brethren. Many want to take away his credit and give it all to Yahusha. I have no problem with giving Yahusha credit, but you should not take this man's credit away from him. This man's testimony shows us that even before Yahusha's death, burial, and resurrection, righteousness can be achieved. And no other time has the whole nation of Israel, from generation to another generation, walked completely in righteousness. Not just one man, not one individual, but one son of all the nation of Israel. The Exodus 4:22, that son, being Israel, walked in righteousness. And Yahushua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem and called the elders of Israel, and for their heads and for their judges and for their officers, and they presented themselves before Elohim. He called all the leaders, all the men. Yeah, let me not go there, because women get offended, so they don't even have to listen to my messages no more. They can unfriend me or whatever. They don't have to hear me. You husbands need to start ruling over your homes. These women gonna have Israel off, and it's not because of them. It's because they ain't led right. You got these weak old men, these Ahabs, that's letting these look. The majority of the women, I believe, are righteous, walking in righteousness. You got these weak men that won't take their place of authority and won't speak up and silence some of this stuff that's going on. You got women speaking and nobody canceling out their vows. Men, you got to cancel out their vows so that they don't suffer damnation because you neglected your post. Cover these women properly. Men, you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. I'm not blaming the women, but the women always hear that I'm blaming them. No, it's weak old men, these Ahabs out here that allow a Jezebel to be empowered. It's a man that allows that to happen. If he stands in his place, that woman, she has no power to do that. It's that Ahab spirit. got these men out here claiming to be strong leaders and they empowering these Jezebels. It's them that's the problem. It's not the Jezebel, because she would be silenced. She'd be dog's food if she without that man, she'd be dog food. Anyway, and Yahushua said to all the people, "Thus said Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel, long ago your fathers dwelt beyond the river Terah, beyond the river Terah, the father of Abraham and the father of Nahor, and they served other mighty ones. So I took your father, Abraham, from beyond the river and caused him to go through all the land of Canaan and multiplied his offspring and gave him Yitzhak. And to Yitzhak I gave Jacob and Esau. And to Esau I gave the mountains of Seir to possess. But Jacob and his children went down to Mizraim. Then I sent Moshe and Aharon and plagued Mizraim, and as I did in their midst, and afterward I brought you out. And I brought your fathers out of Mizraim, and you came to the sea, and the Mizraimites pursued your fathers with chariots and horsemen to the Sea of Reeds. Many of us are told that it was to the Red Sea, but it's the Sea of Reeds. And they cried out to Yahuwah, and he put thick darkness between you and the Mizrahites, and brought the sea upon them and covered them. And your eyes saw what I did in Mizraim, and you dwelt in the wilderness a long time. And I brought you into the land of the Amorites, who dwelt beyond the Jordan, and they fought with you, but I gave them into your hand, and you possessed their land, and I destroyed them from before you. And Balak, son of Zippor, sovereign of Moab, remember I spoke on this early, rose up and fought against Israel and sent and called for Balaam, son of Beor, to curse you. But I refused to listen to Balaam. So he continued to Baruch you, and I delivered you out of his hand. As long as you're walking in obedience, he was not able to touch you. I delivered you out of his hands. He had a purpose to curse you, but it had no fruit come from it. It didn't come into fruition. I delivered you out of his hand because you were walking in obedience. You were walking in righteousness. And you passed over the Jordan and came to Jericho. And the masters of Jericho, the Amorite, and the Perizzite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite fought against you, but I gave them into your hand. And I sent the hornet before you, which drove them out from before you. Also the two sovereigns of the Amorites, but not with your sword or with your bow. And I gave you a land for which you did not labor, and cities which you did not build, and you dwell in them, and you eat of the vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. And now fear Yahuwah. Serve him in perfection and in truth, and put away the mighty ones which your fathers served beyond the river and in the Mizraim, and serve Yahuwah. Serve him how? In perfection. It's not possible, is what we told today. But this is what was declared by Yahuwah through Yahushua. And if it seems evil in your eyes to serve Yahuwah, choose for yourself this day whom you are going to serve, whether the mighty ones which your fathers served that were beyond the river, or the mighty ones of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But I and my house, we serve Yahuwah. This declaration comes directly from who? Yahushua. He didn't speak that, oh, I can't keep the law. He said, me and my household, we going to serve the law. We serve Yahuwah, excuse me. We're going to serve Yahuwah. We're going to obey Yah. No. People look at me crazy when I say that that's what's going to happen in my household. That's how we going to operate. Am I naturally or what people call perfect? No. But I'm working towards maturity and perfection the biblical way. Do I have my eyes dotted and my T's crossed? No. I make a lot of mistakes, but I'm trying to be a better me every single day. If you knew me in my past, you say he is nothing like he used to be, but I'm still growing. At 53 years old, you can do the same. Stop claiming that you can't keep the law, that you can't do the law, that you can't obey Yah, that you can't be righteous. Stop claiming that. Believe what Yah has said and do as this man says. But I and my house, we serve Yahuwah. 16. And the people answered and said, far be it from us to forsake Yahuwah to serve other mighty ones. They're like, we ain't doing that. This is what Israel the son, Exodus 4:22, needs to be doing. We need to step away from all these other mighty ones and serve Yahuwah. 17. For Yahuwah our Elohim is he who has brought us and our fathers up out of the land of Mizraim from the house of bondage. Come on. We in America, our house of bondage. Slavery was what built this nation. Do we want to change? Then we need to turn towards Yahuwah. For Yahuwah our Elohim is who brought us and our fathers up out of the land of Mizraim from the house of bondage, who did those great signs before our eyes and has guarded us in all the way that we went and among all the people whom we pass. And Yahuwah drove out from before us all the people, even the Amorites who dwelt in the land. We too serve Yahuwah, for he is our Elohim. Come on. If we serve Yahuwah, he going to clear out some people from our midst. Those that's troubling us, those are hating on us, those that are setting up traps and sabotage towards us. Come on. No declaration of a president or anyone else would be able to do anything to us if we're walking in obedience to Yah. Can we keep going? 19. Then Yahushua said to the people, you are not able to serve Yahuwah. And he is set apart, for he is a set apart Elohim. You are not able to serve Yahuwah. He telling them, I don't think you can do it. He challenging them. Many people will say, oh, that's doubt. He spoke for his household that they gonna do it. But he like, y'all, I'm challenging y'all. You ain't gonna be able to do it. This ain't doubt. He said, he challenging them. For he is a set apart Elohim. A jealous El is he. He does not bear with your transgression and with your sins. What is sin? A transgression of the law. Transgression of the instructions of Yah, his Torah. Yah ain't gonna bear that. I dealt with earlier the Deuteronomy 28 saying if you do and obey, you'll be favored. But if you disobey, you're gonna be cursed. If you feel like that we walking in curse, that lets you know that we're disobedient. Stop saying the white man this, white man that. No, your disobedience is what's allowing you to be touched. Nobody could touch you as a nation, people of Israel. You're going to see stuff happen to individuals because as a people, bloodline, as a nation, we are not one. Again, we keep going. Verse 20. If you forsake Yahuwah, what? If you forsake Yahuwah, what? You disobey? and shall serve mighty ones of a stranger, then he shall turn back and do you evil. He gonna curse you and consume you after he has been good to you. Come on. If you turn your back on Yah, you expect him to give you all the riches and all of the benefits of his kingdom, and you're not obeying him? Some of y'all say, well, Yahusha did it all. Oh, he did it all. What? Really? He did it all to show you an example, but he didn't do it all so you can go back to doing whatever you want to do. Your selfish endeavors is going to cause you and your household to suffer. All right, let me keep going. 21. And the people said to Yahushua, no, but we do serve Yahuwah. The people came to a consensus and came together and said, no, we're going to serve Yahuwah. Then Yahushua said to the people, you are witnesses against yourselves that you have chosen Yahuwah for yourselves to serve him. And they said, witnesses. They were in agreement with it. And now put away the mighty ones of the stranger, which are in your midst. Set yourself apart and incline your heart to Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel. And the people said to Yahushua, Yahuwah our Elohim we serve, and his voice we obey. His instructions, his laws, his Torah, we obey. Obedience is greater than sacrifice. You can make sacrifices all day, but if you're not going to obey, your sacrifices are useless. When you disobey, that's when you need a sacrifice, but it's so that you can start obeying afterwards, not so you can continue disobeying. That's not the purpose of a sacrifice. Sacrifice is to restore what has been broken. But if you're obeying, you haven't broken anything. Obey. Be perfect. Be ye perfect. Be ye mature. Grow. Okay, you tripped and stumbled when you were crawling and learning to walk. But now you start walking. If you keep walking consistently, you're going to learn to run. You're going to stumble less. Come on. And the people said to Yahushua, Yahuwah Elohim we serve, and his voice we obey. And Yahushua made a covenant with the people that day and laid on them a law and a right ruling, etc. Then Yahushua wrote these words in the book of the Torah of Elohim. Yahushua wrote these words in the book of the Torah. Not Moses. Yahushua wrote these words in the book of the Torah of Elohim. And he took a large stone and set it up there under the oak that was by the set apart place of Yahuwah. And Yahushua said to all the people, see, this stone is a witness to us, for it has heard all the words of Yahuwah. The stone heard the word. They use symbols. That stone heard what you said, and that was a reminder. For it has heard all the words of Yahuwah, which has spoke to us, and it shall be a witness against you, lest you lie against your Elohim. Then Yahushua sent the people away, each to his own inheritance. But check it out, check it out. And after these events, it came to be that Yahushua, son of Nun, the servant of Yahuwah, died 110 years old. Here's the key thing. And they buried him within the border of his inheritance at Timnath Serah, which is in the mountains of Ephraim on the north side of Mount Gaash. And Israel served Yahuwah. They walked in obedience to Yahuwah all the days of Yahushua, the last days of Yahushua after they made this pledge, and all the days of the elders who outlived Yahushua. So even after he died, who had known all the works of Yahuwah which had been done in Israel. So you had a generation in with Yahushua, and then the continuation of those people that was alive, that generation, they still were walking in obedience to Yah. They were righteous. They were blameless. They were perfect. Were they without flaw? No. They were walking in maturity, completeness. All the days of Yahushua and all the days of the elders who outlived Yahushua. That right there is that's where I need to end that with that, and I'm gonna go to the next thing because that was enough said right there. Enough said. So Yahushua, that Yahusha got his name from him. So let's see. In the days of Yahusha, did everybody walk in righteousness? No. But this man came as an example because people had forgot about this example. That all of the people can keep saying over and over that Israel can't do it. They can't do it. But I'm going to show you what the will of Yah is here in Ezekiel 36. Starting 17. Son of man, mankind. Or is he talking to Ezekiel? When the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own ways and deeds. They didn't do what the people of Yahushua's time did. They took a pledge and they walked it out. But no, Israel, our ancestors, and even Israel now, we defile the land that we own because we don't walk in Yah's way. We walk in our own ways and deeds. To me, their way is like the uncleanness of a woman in her monthly period. Now, if you know anything about minstrels and know how nasty that is, that's what he sees us as, how we operate. When we're in disobedience, we like the uncleanness of a woman in her monthly period. That's some nasty stuff. It's stinky, nasty. Not putting it on the woman, that's the whole nation of Israel that he sees like that, not just the women. And the men are the one in lead. So you're the one responsible for it. Don't blame it on the women. It's us. We ain't taking our rightful place. You can say all day, oh, this woman, Jezebel, just like you blaming, the white man, you blaming women for it. No, it's you men that want to play Ahab and let Jezebel have authority. You gave up your authority and let this woman do that. Don't blame that woman. You blame yourself. Get up in position and take your position. Proclaim it. Cancel out her vow and walk in authority in your home. Sorry, old men, anyway. So I poured out my wrath on them for the blood they had shed on the land, and for the idols they defiled it. And I scattered them among the nations, and they were dispersed throughout the lands. Come on, we dispersed everywhere. I have judged them according to their ways and their deeds. And when they came to the nations, wherever they went, they profaned my set-apart name. We his people, and they seeing how wicked we are, so that making his name look bad. Because he claimed us, again, Exodus 4:22. He said, all of Israel his son. Exodus 19:4, 5, and 6. He said, if we obey him, we're his royal priests. We supposed to be his leaders. And we can't get it together. So we giving him a bad name. We ain't representing him right. We supposed to be like Adam was, his representative, his proxy in the earth. But we basically doing our own thing. So he don't have a good name with people because if we supposed to be his and we operating like that, it don't look like he much of a person that deserves reverence if we ain't even reverencing him. We dishonoring our Father. Come on. So they profaned my set apart name, for it was said to them, these are the people of Yahuwah, and yet they gone out of his land. But I had compassion on my set apart name. See, his name means something to him. See, people keep thinking it's the literal name. Oh, Yahuwah. No, his character, his reputation. And those who have relationship with his character and reputation, it means something to him. But I had compassion on my set apart name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the nations wherever they went. Therefore, say to the house of Israel, thus said the Master Yahuwah, I do not do this for your sake. Come on. We act like we so much better than everybody else. No, we a hot mess. Again, we like menstrual, that menstrual blood, stinky. But yet he ain't doing it for our sake. He sees our disobedience, but he doing it for his name's sake. O house of Israel, but for my set apart namesake, which you have profaned among the nations wherever you went. And I shall set apart my great name, which has been profaned among the nations, which you have profaned in their midst. And the nations shall know that I am Yahuwah, declares the Master Yahuwah, when I am set apart in you before their eyes. So we don't went wayward, but he gonna help us get back in order. And that in itself is going to have the other nations like, whoa. Because right now we operating as the tail and not the head. And when we come to our position of head again, it's going to amaze some people because they're like, them niggas did it. And I shall take you from among the nations, and I shall gather you out of all lands, and I shall bring you into your own land. You got a lot of people doing this on their own. They going to the land on their own. But he's saying, I'm going to do it. Come on. You can't make Yah do his will. He going to do his will. You know, and that's a scary thing when you call yourself, going to make the decisions. Again, that's the selfish acts. You need to talk in and tap in with Yah and see what he wants for your life. I get it. He gives us free will, but come on. Is he ordering your steps or not? Okay, I shall sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols, I cleanse you. I'm going to make you perfect. I'm going to make you righteous. I'm going to make you blameless. And I shall give you a new heart. Sounds like the new covenant. Are we, people say, oh, we're in the new covenant. Come on, we ain't seeing this. We ain't seeing the whole nation. Yes, individuals may, but Israel is one son. It's the whole nation that matters. Stop focusing on what you're doing individually and look at your nation. Start loving on your nation. Try to be one as a nation. Come on, if your arm is messed up, your body ain't healed. Your body ain't right. Come on, how many of y'all got back problems? If you got back problems, everything. You can't focus on stuff like you're supposed to. You ain't able to walk right. You ain't. Sometimes you may even get angry quicker than you normally would because that pain is just there. The whole body needs to be healed, not just one part of it. Come on, stop focusing on your one part being good and that everybody else messed up. You ain't got the right focus. You ain't got oneness. You ain't about accord. I should give you a new heart and put a new ruach within you. And I shall take the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I shall give you a heart of flesh, and put my spirit, my ruach within you, and I shall cause you to walk in my laws, and guard, shamar, my right rulings, and shall do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I gave your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim. Shabbat Shalom. Being perfect is not being flawless. Being perfect is maturing day by day. You shouldn't be in competition with other folks. Be the best you. And when people keep saying that I can't keep the law, you're not going to keep the law if you have that mindset. That death that's being spoken out of your mouth when you say you can't do it, that's what you're going to get. Speak life. Say that you can, even when you're not. Believe that you can. And Yah will release to you the ability to do so. Start a new habit of righteousness. Start a new habit of walking in Torah. Yes, that sacrifice was there for us, and we got to acknowledge it. We got to accept it. But the problem is, you can't just do that and no longer walk towards righteousness and walk towards obedience. You can't think that that's enough. The direction is not the destination. You don't stop at Yahusha. You stop when you get to the kingdom of Yahuwah. Use the directions to get to the destination. The will of the Father is the destination. Our Father was said by Yahusha. He acknowledged that we are brothers together. Our Father, which art in heaven, thy will be done. He's talking about our Father's will being done. Thy kingdom come. Not Yahusha's kingdom come, but the Father's kingdom come. Well, Yahusha be there to rule and be his proxy? Yes, the second that he's doing what the first Adam was supposed to do. Yes, but it's still Yahuwah's reign and dominion. We, as royal priests, we stand before men. Don't get pig-headed and think that you're something better than the men that you stand before. You're not. You're just one that's in a role, in a position given. Be thankful that you've been given it. Operate in some humility out here and stop being so arrogant and thinking yourself better than other people. Take hold of the position you're in and do what you're supposed to be doing. Shabbat Shalom. I thank you. Thank you, Abba, for this opportunity to minister. May those that have had the ear to hear. And of course, I'm always open for constructive criticism without insults, but being able to dialogue. I have no problem with people being offended or me even being offended, because out of offense, iron, the friction, can sharpen iron and we can grow. But once it gets to insults and all those things, that is not honorable to you, and we're not edifying one another. Let your will be done always. Shabbat Shalom. Yada Yahuwah. Shabbat Shalom.